let's talk about another way to track calls and track leads through calls, and that's calls from the website. And so, Chris, some people know about this, some people don't. I'm very surprised how many people still don't know about this, but with Google Ads, free inside of Google Ads, you can create a calls from website conversion, and you can put this code on the website, and then when someone clicks from Google Ads, it's not from every source, it's not from any other source except Google Ads, but when they come from Google Ads, they click on a Google ad, they go to your website from Google Ads. As the page is loading, the phone number will swap itself into a Google tracking forwarding number, and then someone will dial the number they see, and you will receive the call at the phone number you said you want to receive calls at when you set up the conversion, and which should be your business number. And then you'll be able to find out which ads and which keywords led to those calls when someone manually dialed the phone number that they saw on your website. This kind of closes the loop here, Chris. Tracking the lead forms very easy. Tracking calls from ads very easy. The one thing that was missing for the longest time, and it's so weird to think back to those days versus the way we talk about conversions now and wanting to track everything, but calls from the website, that was the missing loop, and they've closed it. So any general thoughts on that? And then I want to kind of go into some different nuances.
Yeah. Call from website, I'll tell you, to put in perspective with, the first thing we talked about, call from ads, I would say a lot less clients of mine and people that I do consulting with use this. So much less common and much less of an anchor in their conversion tracking. I would say just, I guess you get about a third of the people that call from the website versus people that call from a click to call in an ad. I would say that the numbers are significantly less that call from a website, because often, in addition to a phone number, they also have a web form, a quote form, a chat, email address. There's a lot of other distractions and ways that person might be more apt to do it. But when you're presented with either going to the website or calling a phone number, just like you said, for some industries, straight from the ad phone call is going to be the preferred method. So it's definitely not, call from website is definitely not something that I consider to be a foundational conversion, because sometimes I don't even have them.
Well, I would say it's not foundational as an industry right now because it hasn't been. And I would, because it just hasn't been. Like, there wasn't that option for the longest time.
Yeah.
Now there is that option. A lot of people haven't kind of come around to it. I think I would just add, you want to judge it industry by industry, because there are some industries.
Yeah. Okay.
Think of like something like an orthodontist. People don't want to fill out a form and then they're busy. They want to book an appointment for their kids to get them braces. They're not looking to fill out a form and then hear back like 2 days later. They're looking to call in. So I think it depends on the industry. I can see a lot of B2B industries and national campaigns where people just want to quote. They're out there getting quotes. They fill out a quote form, much heavier base of conversions. But some of the medical stuff, I think, could lead to a lot of phone calls. And I guess my main point is it is an option, and people they are not utilizing it to the extent they should. I think a lot of people don't even realize it. It does sound magic when I talk about it. Like, how does that actually work? And some people would wonder, like, well, what does it change your number to? The crazy thing about it is the font of your phone number, the size of the text, the style of the text, it all stays the same, which is very, very impressive. A couple nuances here. Number one, it does not work on logo images or images on your website. So work with a lot of moving companies, Chris, and they have images of their trucks on the homepage, big image of the truck, and on the truck they have a phone number. And this code will not be able to influence that image. It's a different kind of technology. And so the the real phone number will still show in the image, or if someone has a logo with the phone number in the logo, that phone number will still say in the logo. And so if you see the number in text on your website, it will change it out, but it won't on the logo images or images. You just have to know that, and you have to know, like, okay, well, if we see calls from website conversions coming in, just know that's not all the calls we'll get, because some people will look at the truck image, some people will look at the logo. A couple more nuances, Chris. You want those phone numbers to be clickable on your website. Test it on mobile in Chrome, test it on mobile in Safari. And if they're not clickable, if you can't click to call on mobile on your website, that's going to lower the amount of calls you get by potentially a lot. So look up that code or talk to your web developer. And then finally, I think, Chris, you can do this multiple times. You can set up multiple calls from website on a website. Like if there's a main phone number at the top and then a different location in the footer, I'm pretty sure you can set up a second conversion action to track that second number in the footer, because you want to try to be getting all calls.
Yeah, and you're hitting on something. I'm not going to go into it again because we talked about it. If you want more information about calls, we did talk about it last week in a deep dive about calls and some of the issues that I have with call tracking, and the difference between third-party paid solutions and the free Google Ads solution. So I won't go into that again, but Jason's hitting on it again. I mean, there are some big differences, and what's right for you might really be dependent upon the limitations of the Google Ads system and what's provided for free versus what you get when you pay a third party to provide that call tracking for you.
Yeah, and the main thing to know about this is, like, you can track calls from ads, you can track lead forms, and you can track calls on your website manually dialed on desktop and on mobile. You can do it through Google Ads for free, but there are some limitations on what you get for that. But you do get all the calls. You see all the calls in the duration. And then there are third-party call tracking systems where you have to pay, but they allow you to get more data as well. And you can track those calls. That's the main message.